Well, hello guys, and welcome back to the RC barn. Today we are going to keep going on the cauldron here. I'm going to start building the ailerons out, ailerons or ailerons, however you want to say it. I say ailerons. Anyways, I'll show you some of the issues that I'm having here, of course, because these plans, like I said before, they suck. So, anyways, let me show you what I got going on here. The first problem that I'm having. So that's the left aileron. And as you can see, it's nicely detailed. It's got where the ribs go and everything in there. Okay. And then the other problem that I'm having is the right aileron. Yeah. You could kind of guesstimate it, but we'll figure that right one out here. I'm going to start on the left one to get this thing built. I'm going to get you guys in here a little closer here. Probably about as good as it's going to get. So, anyways, I went ahead and cut a bunch of pieces out here. This took me most of the morning. These are all the little ribs. There. You know, A1 through A6. And then I went ahead and while I had them all apart, I duplicated them for the right side. There you go. And then I went ahead and cut the sheeting out for the bottom. And then I transferred all my marks where the ribs are got to go from there. And as you know, that this is metric. So I've been playing around with trying to find out what sizes work for what. The width, the height is 3/4 of an inch. The width is a little less than 1/2 inch. Now, when I get done with this, this is what the side profile is going to look like right here. So you can see it pretty much gets all rounded off. And then we got a piece of tri-stock on the top, small piece of tri-stock on the top to fill in the void and more streamline, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I grab this piece. It's 3/4 of an inch high and it's a 1/2 inch thick. And since I can't put it right up against the edge, if I do that, that'll misalign all my ribs here. So I made a mark where it needs to go to. And since I already need to sand it, then since I already need to sand that radius in there, we'll just sand the excess out until the rib fits in, or until the aileron fits in there. I need my pen. Because I'm going to build this right on top of the sheeting, and I'm going to do the same on the right side. So, and something I don't show a whole lot is cutting and how to saw this stuff. So I always start with a straight edge. And the biggest thing is over here is control. Now, a lot of guys will hold. Let me pull my sweatshirt back here a little bit. I should just take it off. But anyways, a lot of guys will try to hold the saw. Now, this is just a Zona saw. It's a Chinese cabinet making saw. You can get them on Amazon. That's where these came from. You got thick ones and thin ones. So, anyways, a lot of guys will just manhandle this thing and just grab it like a saw. What I do is I rotate my hand off to the side, off to the top like this, and I put the butt of the saw, you'll see it sitting in my palm, and then I grab it like this. And that way I got more control over this thing, and I'm pushing up against here. See? Okay, because showing with Annabelle's videos, which I'm sure most of you have seen, I couldn't believe how much control she was, how much bevel she was putting in it, because she was just holding the saw wrong. So I'm pushing down with my pointy finger here to put a little bit of pressure, but for the most part, I'm just letting the saw do the work. Okay, and I'm keeping it as straight as I possibly can, especially cutting through a piece of wood like this. Now, obviously you can you know, cut it longer, and then cut it longer, and then sand flat, sand it to shape, whatnot. So you know, you got to use what. Sorry, I'm thirsty. You got to use what method works for you. So we're gonna build this rib out. I need some glue. There it is. Too many projects going on at once. You hear me say that a lot too. And we'll go ahead and get our leading edge on here. I'm just going to put a nice little bead of CA down the leading edge of this. And then, like I said, I need to line it up with this edge here. Okay. And let's start with A1 here, which I think did I already screw it up? No? Okay. So, because it bevels both ways, what I'm going to do is glue it. Wonder why that's so high. You can see, like I said, I've been having nothing but problems with this thing. I guess A2, A3. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these onto here. And it does appear that they're set it up with the plans here. And then let's see if we got, yeah. Let's just start gluing and seeing what happens, eh? So, one. And then the other thing that I do is when I'm marking these out, like you'll see on the plans they're marked like this. Okay. So, let me get you centered here. When I cut it out, I make the mark in the same orientation because this to me is the bottom and this is the top. See what I'm saying? And all I'm doing is eyeballing. Looks pretty straight to me. You can put a 90 on here to verify it. Yep, that's dead on. Two, three. Four. Probably going to end up sanding the tops of these down so they fit. Because I get a feeling it's a little too thick. It's like these are fitting fine. A6, A5. I'm sure there's better ways to do this, but I found with like the stabilizer and the rudder that I built already that sometimes the best way is just to do it, just to get it glued together. Because this does appear to, it does taper top to bottom, right to left. You can kind of see that going on there. And right on the edge. Let that dry for a little while. Yeah. And then just eyeballing it. Looks pretty. The ribs look straight. So then we need to work out. See, when I put this on here and I add another sheet of wood up here, that rib's just going to be too tall. Don't want it higher than the rest, so we'll let this dry. We'll see about, and see, I can bevel this. Yeah. Okay. Let's get, I know, boring, right? Sorry. I'm going to put some glue down into that metal rib there. A little more glue there since it popped on me. And as we add, get glue on the other ones, it should reinforce it some so it'll stay put. Hopefully. I know nothing like watching paint dry, eh? Little air maybe. Let it cure up a little faster. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah. And then I think sure where my thin went. That's alright. We'll keep working with the thick. Now on the other side it shows holes, lightning holes in the sheeting here. I am not going to do that because I do plan on doing a fiberglass finish on this plane. And you want a solid surfaces for that. So I think what little bit of strength I would gain, I don't really need, or what little bit of lightness I would gain isn't going to hurt this plane any. And now I can start going ahead and gluing the rest of these to my sheeting here. And see all I'm doing here. I know, boring. All I'm doing here is filling that. This rib isn't glued yet. Put a little glue in there. Let it soak in a little bit. And then push. I might make a jig for the leading edge sheeting to get it to final shape so it matches that contour a lot better. Because I want yeah, that looks pretty nice, eh? So anyways, there's that part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock these down. See what I mean? How thick that is right there. And I know that's too thick to meet up with the rib structure there. So yeah, that's got to get knocked down at least 1/8 of an inch. The rest of it's fine. It's just those 3 right there that need to be knocked down. So I'll hit those with oh, glued myself to the workbench. And the aileron. One way to hold on to it anyways, right? And then, so then I'll go ahead and manufacture the trailing edge here and we'll add that. And then there is a little bit there's a little bit of sheeting I got to add to this tail end yet, because this is the end of the rib. The leading edge goes up against here and then goes up against these. So I need to manufacture a trailing edge for it. But anyways, there's a partial rib made, or partial rib. Can't talk today. There's a partial aileron made. And I mean, the right side's going to be about exactly the same process here, you know, except for I got to mirror this over there. Now, the one thing I do need to do before I seal this up is I'm going to have to add a big block in here, in this area here, if you can see, for the aileron link, you know, the linkage to slot in here. And I'll probably have to drill that in the drill press just to make sure it's as straight as I can possibly get it. So, and then it does show a bigger block down here. I may add that yet. I don't know. That's this tiny aileron, isn't it, though? So anyways, I'm going to cut this. Well, I'm not going to cut the video off here. I'm just going to stop right here. I got some things I got to do with the daughter. So, but I'll get this sanded to shape. I'll knock these down and then add that block. And then I can finish this, sheeting this up. And there we go. And then we'll get on to the other side. All right, so I got both ailerons pretty much finished up here. The right one, like I said earlier in the video, was a pain in the butt because they didn't put where it was at. So what I did is I just measured these and copied it over here. If I'm within a 1/16 of an inch, I think we'll be all right. And, you know, as you can tell. So I got our block in here. This is for the control horn, or the linkage to come through. Like I said, I'll have to drill that in the drill press to make sure it's nice and straight. You know, a few degrees off here and there, it's not going to make a huge difference, especially with what little bit of throw we're probably going to need on this. Anyhow, the next step on this is just to go ahead and get these sheeted, covered over. I'm not going to add any more block to the aileron for hinging, because I think this is plenty thick enough for the roll bar hinges that this thing's undoubtedly going to get. And so I'm just going to go ahead and sheet these completely over, and then we'll work on coming up with some kind of jig or something to get this rounded leading edge perfect. So I'll go ahead and get show you guys on one of them anyways. Get a sheet of also right here. I tell you what, this thing sure is eating up my wood supply here. Let's start on the right one. So I've sanded on these and got this all nice and flat. I took my time. Where is... I did start off with quite a bit of taller block here, so I planed it. That's why you see the planer back here in the background. And I planed the angles into it, being real careful. I pinned it down to my work table so it wouldn't move, so I could focus on planing that down nice and carefully and flat. And then I took it over to the sanding area on the other workbench, and I sanded these all nice and flat. So this should lay in here real nice. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to flip it over. We'll mark it out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Don't want to mess up our plans, you know. We'll worry about this later. It'll work. I'm going to mark this little edge right here so I don't put any glue on it. Okay. Well, I'm not going to bore you with doing the other one, even though that's pretty quick. And I think a lot of this is probably going to go away anyways, right through here. Because the only thing that should be left is right here in the center. That's going to be a lot of planing work there. That's why I'm not too worried about like how straight this leading edge is and everything. So we'll plane that down. I'll make some marks on there, some reference marks. We'll plane it, get the radius going. And then, like I said, I might come up and make a little bit of a jig here. I'm still trying to think of how I do that. Now, Carl Goldberg, they used to use a couple of flats on the on plywood. I don't think I have one of those anymore. And then you could sand, you know, sand your arc into there and get a real straight result. So we'll do what we can with the planer, and then yeah. But that, boy, that thing is flipping strong. Holy cow! So this is going to be the top. So we're going to mark it top, right, aileron. And we'll do the same to the other one. That way we can keep them matched up with the way they need to go. I mean, it's pretty self-apparent how they... Let's see, can you see there? Yeah. And then there is a filler that goes in here. So we'll have to figure that part out next. So anyways, I got some things to go do, and so I will bring you back when I get some of this other littler stuff done. Alright, so I'm going to call these pretty much done. I do have some light trimming to do on the trailing edge, but I'm going to do all that when I get them hinged. But I did get them roughed into shape here, and they're pretty good. So all I did was I just drew a circle out on my leading edge there, and then I planed it. See all the mess down there? Keeping my, I kept it flat on the table here. Then I just went with the planer, and then I sanded it. And I touched on the face a little bit, because if you remember right when I built these were a little longer. They fit pretty well in there. So the next step for them was to get hinged and get the holes drilled out, and get the holes drilled out for the linkages, and then get them installed. So we'll do that at a later date. Now I'm going to start focusing on this front end. I want to get the leading edge installed, get the landing gear blocks installed, leading edge, and do all that stuff. So that way I can call this wing for the most part built and done. So I'm going to start working on that next. So we're going to move over to the block here. Now I did do a test piece here with my saw, and what I'm looking for is a nice tight fit in here. And this seems like this is going to work just fine. It's going to fit down in there. So now that I know what, I tried to use an 1/8 inch, but I think that's going to be a little thin. So this is 0.47 if I remember right. That's what I got on hand. Or 5/32. That's going to be a little better, a little more stouter for this application. So I marked it out like how thick it's got to be. It fits this way just fine in the ribs. So I'm going to go to my table saw. I'm going to set up my fence to mill out the slot out of here. And then, and for depth for that wire. So it doesn't need to be near that deep. So I'll do that, and then I'll bring it back when I get that done. I'm not going to take the camera and show all that. It's just, table saw work. So, fence, set it up for the hat, set the height of the table saw for the groove, slide it through, and then chop this off to fit. So, and then I'll probably go a little wide, and then might have to sand on the pockets here in the ribs a little bit to get it to fit nice. So anyways, I'll do that next, and I'll bring it back when it's all done. All right, I got these all cut. I think they turned out just fine. I did, the way I set these up on the table saw is I lined it up on the center. I don't remember which end had the marks on it. It's gone now. Anyways, and then of course the blade was just a little on the tight side. So I moved those fence over a little bit and widened the slot out. You want them to be a little proud. I don't know if you can see that or not. Focus. You want the wire to be just a touch proud of the block. You don't want them sitting in there, because you want the clamps to be able to grab a hold of that and push down landing gear blocks. And then let's see how these are going to fit in here. Oh, look at that. That's money right there. Yeah. So, like I said before, these plans suck. And it shows on the ribs that all 3 ribs get, 1, 2, and 3 get notched out for the rail, but it only shows it on the first 2. So I made them that long. And what I'll do is I'll hug this side of the rib like this, like so. And that'll give me some excess, because we'll have to add the bolster here. You get a block. So when you bend your landing gear out, when it comes up, it's got more meat to grab a hold of. So I still got to do that yet, but at least they're fit nice. So now I can go ahead and add the rest of the ribs to the front of the wing. I'm going to epoxy these in. Now you can make a couple choices here. I'm going to go for strength, because in my opinion, I land okay. I don't have too many rough landings. So I'm going to go for strength, and I'm going to epoxy all this stuff in. And I think I'll also try to stock quite a bit of this just to give me some extra area to grab a hold of. The downfall to that is if you do have a bad landing, say off field and it's not smooth or whatever, and you rip one of these out, you're probably going to take half your wing with you. So a lot of guys will, when they put these on, they'll make them intentionally weak so that way the landing gear block pulls out of the ribs and it doesn't damage any of the surrounding other stuff. I don't think I'm going to have that problem, and you know, not knock on hardwood here that I won't. So I'm going to make them as strong as I can to get them in there, because I think my train of thought is I'd rather have them strong and, you know, maybe do a little damage coming out and have a bigger repair, rather than, you know, 5 years from now have these landing gears falling out because they're too weak because of the countless landings that have happened. So I tend to go the other way. So you guys can do what you think is best. But I mean, also, I'm not going to use any real strong hardware in here either. If these are strong, my breaking point will be the landing gear straps, which I'll use nylon with wood screws in here, and probably only 2 of them, you know, one on each side to hold them in. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do. So I'll get all that done, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details. This is kind of the finicky work here of getting stuff lined up, fitting, and in place and stuff. So I'll bring you back when I got more to show you. All right, I thought I'd throw this trick up your guys' sleeve here real quick. If you guys ain't got a Dremel, buy one. I got 2 of them. I think I paid $10 for this at a swap meet, or not a swap meet, but a yard sale. Pretty good smoking deal for me, but it even came with some of these bits. So this is a router, and you don't have to use it very often. But some planes like this one, you know, the ribs get separated up, and you get these little tabs like here that go in and butt in. So you got to open this up to accept the tab. That's what I'm going to call it anyways. And I just kind of free rein these. And again, as I'm probably going to say through this whole damn build, these plans suck and nothing lines up. And these were no exception to that. And I mean, I know I cut these out pretty well, but you know, they don't fit. I mean, they're, I don't know if you can see that. So what I'm doing here, and I've already done this to, the only one that did fit was this one. I might have fitted that one earlier. I don't really remember. I don't recall whether I did or not. So I'm just sliding this up. Now this is going to get sheeted with 1/8 inch sheeting, just top and bottom, just like the other rest of the wing is. And so I'm lining it up so that way I don't have to sand anything. And I'm just putting myself a notch here where it starts, a straight line, and a notch where it ends. So I don't know if you can see my notches there really good, but I got to take this corner out, and this one needs to be dropped down some. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. You just have to take my word for it, I guess. So anyways, the biggest thing with this is making sure that you have, I wonder what that is loose in there. That's weird. Yeah, that's why I only paid $5 for it. But anyways, get it set in here. And you can plunge cut with these too. Now I have this set like on 2, which isn't very fast. And I'm just gonna hold it steady here. We'll get this thing fired up here. It's gonna be noisy, so watch your ears if you got your earbuds in. So here we go. It ain't gotta be perfect, because I'm going to end up putting dry stock on every single one of these ribs. I'm just trying to get everything to line up right now. And then hopefully my luck is with me. Oh yeah. And now it fits in there nice and flush. So again, I'm going to make another mark where it's sitting at. And that's going to be my guide for gluing it in. I'm just using CA to tack this in right now. And I'm going to go ahead and throw some in this joint, even though the fit's not that great, and some of it probably won't add to the strength of it. But we'll set this in here like so. Get our angle out. Make sure she's straight. Make sure everything's lining up just fine. We'll set this here for a minute. Okay. Pretty good. There we go. So you guys can get a closer look at this stuff, what's going on here. Like I said, I'm going to throw tri-stock in here because I'm going to make sure this is nice and strong. So I'll do that, and then let's see how the landing gear block. Let's try one of them, see how it fits in here with all three of them. Like I said, I'm going to hug this one. Oh yeah, real nice. See? Then we'll epoxy this in. Then I gotta epoxy the bolster in here yet too. I gotta make that. That'll add a lot of strength to this whole mess. Let's try the other side. The only ones that's really fit real nice is these #1 ribs. The other one's got some gap in them. I'll have to sand this side a little bit because it is a little proud there. Not a big deal though. Anyway, there's that. Yay, on our way to getting the wing done. So anyways, I'll do all that off camera. I'm just gonna add pieces of tri-stock to these, either side of these, especially these plywood ribs. These aren't as important. And then just to get some extra strength in there. And then I'll glue up the blocks and then glue them in place. So that'll probably be this might be it. So I'll bring you back and we'll see where I end up at with it tonight. All right, so they're not glued in yet, but they will be. I'm not going to do that off camera, but I did make the blocks up. You can see what I was talking about with those bolsters. Now, when we make our landing gear, we'll put a 90 in here, and they'll come way up in here, and that'll give us some stability for landing. Now, a lot of people might be looking at that and saying, well, this is a tail dragger. You got a long ways to go to get the wheel way up here. You know, because they're going to have to, like, do this. So I thought I'd get out the plans here. Now, these are the plans that I actually bought. Now, the ones I've been working on have been, they've been copied from these originals. I'm not going to use these things. I paid way too much money for them. They will stay here forever. So anyways, you can see the angle here that this is getting, that this is going to get put into. So that way, like I said, you want your wheels, you know, as much in front of the leading edge as you can for stability. Obviously, a scale plane is going to be a little different than a you know, sport plane or whatnot, because you got to get them in the scale location. So I do have the template for this, so we'll probably end up making this out of like 1/8" ply just for the rigidity of it. I think that's what it calls for, and then it's going to get sheeted because this whole wheel will get covered up. They're kind of blocky. The original was kind of blocky, so I'm going to do what I can to make that not so blocky. So anyways, as you can see, they're right on the CG, but we can't drill these yet because I'm either going to have to, you know, when I bend the landing gear up, put that in there at that angle and then go straight up. So this will be at an angle compared to this. We'll have to mess around with it. Everybody knows landing isn't my strong suit here. So anyways, we'll bend it up, and, you know, we're going to use, like I said, I picked this out. This is, you know, 5/32, and I think that's probably pretty close to what they called for, yeah. So, yeah, we'll get there with it. There's a lot more things to do besides worrying about landing gear at this point. I got to touch on this because of the, you know, we're there with it. So, you know, I got to get the motor mounted, get a prop on it, see how much ground clearance I have. I might have to extend these out a little bit, you know, maybe keep them stock length. I don't know. It does call for a tail skid. We're probably, I don't know, we'll go tail skid or not. We'll see. That could make it interesting on takeoffs. I mean, maybe we'll put a gyro in it, make takeoffs easier. So, anyways, I'm going to call this video here, and we will, let's see, on the next one, we'll probably finish up the wing, get the leading edge glued on and everything. There's a lot to do there. Got plywood to put in here for the wing hold down bolts that you can, yeah, they're right there. And I'm going to go a lot deeper with them. I'll go through the firewall or through the dihedral joint just for strength. This is something I do. And then get the leading edge on there, get it sheeted, do all that fun stuff. So anyways, I want to thank y'all for watching, and I hope you're enjoying this project as much as I am building it. I do have another project coming up over there. A club member crashed his Ultra Stick, so we'll have a repair video coming up of that here pretty soon. I'm going to get started on that probably next week. So anyways, thank y'all for watching, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Later.